Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar on reimagining the IT/ITeS sector for a changing world. And we have a very interesting set of sessions lined up today. We'll start with a panel discussion on bouncing back with technological innovations. This would be followed by sessions from our partners HPE and SAVEX Technologies, and we will conclude with a Q&A in the end. To post your questions, you'll see that there's a Q&A button on your screens. So please click on that and post your questions there. And do note that you don't really need to wait till the end of the, all the sessions to post your questions. You can keep, asking questions during all the sessions so that, if we are able to take them early, we'll do that as well. Okay. So thanks. And with that, we'll start off with the first session, which is the panel discussion. And for this, I would like to first welcome on screen our panelists. Prasad Patil, he is the CTO for JM Bakshi Tech Business, Chief Operating Officer for Arya Infosystems, and Head of the Aryacom Safety, Security, and New Products. Welcome, Prasad. Sanjeev Kumar, he is the Director and CIO of Apon Innovative Solutions. Hi, Sanjeev, welcome. Rishi Agarwal, he is the Head Digital Technologies at Connect Corp. Welcome, Rishi. We have Prashant Deshmukh, who's a storage specialist with HPE. Welcome, Prashant. And we have Sandeep Konvilkar, who's a country pre-sales for servers and storage at SAVEX Technologies. Welcome, Sandeep. And welcome, everyone, to this panel, and thanks for joining me in on for the same. As you all know, that how the current pandemic has shaken every sector across the globe. And of course, the IT/ITeS sector is no exception. Various leading market research reports suggest that all the major markets like US, UK, EU are all facing a slowdown. And this in turn has an impact on our Indian IT/ITeS sector, who have a major chunk of their customers in those regions. Of course, things are only gradually beginning to come back on track for the domestic market as well. So there again, at least for the, those of you who have a domestic market share, a major of it, so there also things are slowly getting back on track. Now, on one side, there's the pressure of managing internal IT, team productivity, etc. And then there's the pressure of, providing innovative solutions to other sectors. So while the IT/ITeS sector is always known to bounce back with innovation, things are kind of a little different now because most other sectors are now struggling to adjust to this new normal that we are currently in. They're forced to fast track a lot of their IT and digital initiatives for the new normal. Some things that were planned for 2-3 years down the line are suddenly now essential. They have to be done now. Doing things virtually, being added to the normal dictionary, distributed teams and so on and so forth. So therefore, all eyes are now on this sector to, to see what's really going to happen, what should really be done. And that's exactly what we really want to do today in this discussion. So Prasad, I'd like to start off with you. Let us tell us some of the pressures that, were being faced in your organization in managing IT, for various internal operations and working on various client projects to kind of support the business. So tell us, please elaborate.
Yeah, so I know this was a difficult time for everyone. And let me just give a brief about JM Bakshi in a very short while. JM Bakshi is a 105-year-old organization, one of the few which has crossed a century in shipping, logistics. We have ports as well as technology companies. And considering the nature of the businesses we are in, which is ports and agency business of shipping, we were always at the forefront during this difficult time with people having to be on the ground while the work from home was applicable only to the offices. Coming back to your question, I think the challenges which we faced were threefold. Typically, people, process, and technology. I think with people, it was more of the culture. And again, there were plus and minuses. So if you see the age demographic and the type of work that they do, the younger people and in the sales and other guys were very happy with the work from home. But the older generation and the typically financing and accounting people were not happy to work from home, given the nature of their work profiles. And when it comes to process, I think we were caught unawares while we had been wanting to digitize process for a long time. There were various pockets in the organization which were still not digitized, and you still have people submitting hard copies for reimbursements and various other stuff, right? And on the technology front, yes, we were ready. I think we were able to seamlessly move over to work from home. However, that's not it. A lot of issues with regards to the local last mile bandwidth, the application latency timeouts for those bandwidth issues. These were typical issues that we faced during the initial months. I think we had to take a lot of stuff, a lot of steps to overcome these issues. And but your question on the problems, I think these were the problems that we faced, and I just trying to club them into these three buckets, people, process, and technology, because all were critical. Not just that, one aspect hurt us a lot, but initially there was a lot of challenges in all three sectors.
I think very well explained. People, process, the technologies. Younger people tend to catch on technology and learn very fast, whereas old people do take time to kind of grasp the new norm. So I think that was one thing you must have grappled with, being a 105-year-old organization. So yeah, thank you. Sanjeev, question to you. I think, while, Prasad shared his views, I think, what were the challenges that your organization really faced in terms of coming back on track, ensuring business continuity, and, things of that nature? You want to tell us about that?
Yeah. In fact, upon Innovative Solutions is a new company, not very old, but we have collected people with number of years of experience in industry, and we do variety of things in two markets, US and India. I handle both actually. I sit part of the year there and then part of the year in Pune. Now the point is, if you look at Epon, which is into IT strategy, so giving expert services to many companies in US, I'll tell you, when the entire thing started, the US was a bit reluctant initially. So it was like, everything was open, everything was working as is, number of cases were going up. So we used to work for Rhode Island, Providence area. And all of a sudden, when we said that let's start, work from home kind of thing, then there was a mixed kind of opinion, how that will happen, who will monitor, all that. Though used to have, complete technology on place, like migration to cloud, container security, everything was there, right? So there was initial hiccup, but when, finally we moved everything and we said that let's stop for, say, at least 6 to 9 months. And then things became very smooth. People became very happy, at commuting and then going everywhere. The only part we could see in that country, the mindset, because if you're not going to office, not seeing people performing, you have heard, the old concept, management by walking around. If you can't see people, delivering and doing something on desk, then you feel like, nobody's doing work. So then, creation of metrics that will give the performance measurement, that all we did it was a very exhaustive task for all of us. And then creating a very security backbone kind of thing, and then bringing VDI, and then, WFH is like, it gives a lot of freedom. So also educating people to do a lot of time management, like, creating a small silo kind of, space in their respective flat or house, wherever they are, and make a routine kind of thing, so that, they does not feel that all the time they are working, all the time they're at home. So we did lot of conceptual change, cultural change, motivational talk, etc., meditation and yoga. We started promoting all that. But we also have a few connects where we do a lot of thing in manufacturing. And there, it was a really, though you do a lot of digital transformation, but it is a physical movement of goods. It is like, receiving and converting those. So yes, that was like, full chaos for many months, but now things are coming on track. So the issue is, companies who have embarked on digital transformation journey early, setting security, then cloud, mobility, work from anywhere, anytime, kind of, they have not faced any other than the mental block. They have not faced any crisis as such. But of course, where you need to go physically monitor, do some work, then yes. So this is how we are organizing within ourselves,
Right.
and also the.
So I think major challenge for you was adapting to the new work culture, work from home culture. That was really one of the challenges. Technology wise, you were ready, but work from home culture kind of took.
It's a very big challenge actually. I'll tell you, people start complaining, that they are feeling sometimes stressed. They are not meeting people, not taking tea together with many friends. So it's like very typical. Going to office and doing lot many things there with peers and colleagues. That is not happening. So that was a different challenge altogether.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me come to you, Rishi. Now, Rishi, you kind of, your organization offers BPM services across industries and functions, whether it's business excellence, audit frameworks, business process reengineering, so many other things. What were some of the top challenges that you faced, your organization faced, and how did you really reorganize your own internal processes to kind of enhance efficiencies?
So, thanks, Anil. So, just to get correct, a quick background, earlier startup business
Rishi, your
and
voice
operations,
is not clear.
and then it moved.
Yeah, now it's fine. Now it's fine.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
So what I was saying that earlier, it was Tata Business Solutions and handling a lot of back office for Tata groups. And at present, it is like handling almost most of the PSUs and private sector banks and financial institutes. And we have around 30,000 plus employees. And we can say it's one of the largest domestic BPO. Now, you know that when pandemic hit, that the first week, I remember on the management, we were discussing, oh, this is just for the 1 week. How can we manage our business operations and customers operations for that 1 week? And subsequently, we continued on that. So definitely it was a big challenge. And for us, how we can come out. And I'll say as an entire, not only organization, with the support of our customers, internal experts, we came out, and almost within, I'll say after a quarter, we were back on almost all the fronts. Now there are a lot of things, as Prasad has mentioned, that people, process, and technology. Now, if we see that, I say that it's a mathematical formula that what percentage you add on each of these components. So definitely COVID has given this technology a big boost to increase. And that's where we have done that very big task to provide all our agents, officers to continue working from home. And as even Sanjeev mentioned, it's a big change management. Like earlier, either you have to see that I have the team of 500 people to execute this. Now all 500 are working from 500 different locations. Now how to manage that? So one of the interesting work what we did, we built something, we call it as a productivity tool. Earlier it used to be that like manager's tool or manager's stick, you can say, but now it was available to every individuals to check their own performance. And in fact, that's the tool was much appreciated by a lot of our clients, where that agent can see their performance, compare it with their colleagues as well as overall organizations. So some of the innovations on that, then a lot of operations, we use a lot of RPA, how instead of waiting for like physical documents, as Sanjeev mentioned, moving around, now everything has moved to the digital. And I will say that I myself as a career, I give the example that I started my career with digitization, which was around somewhere in 2000. Now we are talking about digitalization, like how we can use different channels, omni channels to get the work done. And if it's one channel is not working, how we can seamlessly move to another channel. So that's where I see that definitely for all of us, it's a new paradigm to work and play. And I know that we keep on talking pre-COVID, during COVID, and now post-COVID. How do we see that the world is evolving? So I'll say very excited, and technology is playing a very key role in terms of how we are going to execute, and it's even for the domestic market.
Great. I think a good example of using a productivity tool, which was earlier given to managers, now employees are using it to track their own productivity. So I think that's a very good way of getting employees to work from home and keep track of what they're doing. Thank you for that. Prashant, I'll come to you. You must have interacted with so many different organizations during this time. How have you seen their IT priorities change over this period of time?
Yeah, yeah. So Prashant here. So I've seen a lot of IT organizations and as well as a lot of clients. A lot of clients are actually moving towards hybrid cloud kind of strategy, and we've experienced this in during COVID duration also. A lot of our employees have started from doing work from home, and for that they need infrastructure on time. So where in case of HPE, we have offerings to support hybrid cloud kind of strategies. The way we are talking about HCI today, so it is not just HCI now. So the people talking about HCI and beyond, how your HCI anyways will work for on-premise kind of application workloads to respond to your employees on time during the working from the home. But at the same time, if your on-prem data center goes down, they need 99%, 99.999% availability, so that if we migrate those kinds of workloads, if on-premise data center is not there, if we migrate those kind of workloads to cloud, they will get this kind of uptime during the work for their organizations. So today, if you ask me, a lot of companies are moving towards the hybrid cloud kind of strategies than just leaving their infrastructure on premise. So that is what I see in the market today.
Yeah, thanks, Prashant. I think very well point. I think business resiliency or uptime was a crucial, thing for every organization during this time, and they needed technology that enabled, allowed them to be up all the time. Since I noticed, I remember a lot of data centers were running, but people could not go there. They were not allowed to go there. So therefore, at that time, moving things to the cloud seamlessly really, really helps, and that's where hybrid really helps. So, Sandeep, your views about IT priorities, how they're changing, what have you really seen? Can you just elaborate on that, please?
Sure. So basically, Prashant has already said that the customer has really changed their priorities. Okay. We have seen the education sector, media, entertainment, whether it is a supply chain, whether it is financial sectors, they have really changed their priorities. They have created new environments to work their employees from remotely. Okay. And definitely, apart from other remote access. So they are more focused on collaboration services, mobility, cloud services. And majorly, they have also implemented the more automation kind of stuffs. So where the manual intervention will be lesser to operate the business things. And the last not but least, that is basically a business continuity. So that is with respect to their employees or with respect to their customer, so their products, their environment will be always available for the business continuity perspective. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah, great. I think good point, Sandeep. I think collaboration, mobility, automation, some of the things that we keep hearing about, that customers really want to move to. So good points. Prasad, I think same now question extends to you. You mentioned about, people, processes, technologies, and, how, you have to balance the three. And there are all these now new technologies and all out there. What innovations do you think will take center stage for your sector for this new economy?
So again, even the changes that, so I was kind of withholding on what we exactly did to take care of those issues. But what we did again was with regards to those three aspects, right? With people, I think there was a complete change in how we went about the training piece. It was not easy for people to adapt to the work from home culture. Uh, they would not have even looked at taking self help or calling up help desk, giving up control, because they were, some of them were used to working in environments where you had a physical help desk resource to take care of their issues related to their machines, applications. I think that scenario changed, and for them to get onto a mode where they would have to log a call, give control, and while the tools were there, but even there was an issue for the help desk team to reach office, so they were also working from home. That cultural change from a training perspective, we had to do a lot. There were policy changes. We had to, fortunately we had gone to a new HRMS system from Darwinbox, which actually allowed a lot of these processes to extend onto the mobile device, which the clock in from home, clock in work from home. These were, I think, technologies which helped. I think we'll see a lot more innovation going around in that sector because of how these hybrid cycles are going to continue. When I say hybrid, not everyone's going to come to office for the entire time, because we've got used to that now, and we are now aware of how work can be done in this scenario. And coming to the technology piece, I think we've been saying this for a lot of time about appification, going the mobile way, bandwidth optimization, cloud. I think these have been often repeated, but I think Rishi said it well that the onus came on us as technology leaders to facilitate the business by delivering on these technologies. People who had invested in them were able to do it quickly. People who took time, I think the first 3 months were really difficult. Appification, that's something which I know for so many years people have been talking about, but people were happy to still use those siloed, and large, thick client-based applications. I think a mobile interface is much more acceptable to a large workforce, since they've done this over this longer extended time. Their habits have changed in consuming information, and content creation habits have changed. So we'll see a lot of changes which I just mentioned. Another aspect which we've seen is the innovations that can come on in the way applications are now accessed over the internet. I think you see applications like Zoom, where the increased bandwidth usage by these applications allows even people working on from a relatively poorer bandwidth to come onto the platform and still get connected. You'd see a lot of applications which were traditional now doing innovations to ensure that they adopt the similar kind of algorithms to facilitate this scenario where you are sure in a country like India you're not going to get bandwidth of the best quality all across, and they would have to manage, they would have to innovate so that they are able to reach to that last mile. So the last piece, I think this is what I'm saying to for the trade that we work in, the shipping and logistics, and it's an innovative thing. So we've seen adoption of blockchain, because if you look at shipping and logistics industry, the amount of paperwork that is there, we've seen systems coming in. So we ourselves have taken one solution to the market, which is the digital platform which enables blockchain enabled data document share. These are systems which have actually now found traction because the particular ecosystem in the and the pandemic scenario, which is forced. So initially you would have, in the first 3-4 months, you would have read reports of the ports having inventories which are so much built up because there are no custom handling agents wanting to reach there to pull the stuff out, because someone has to physically take the paper. And that has changed a lot with these technologies coming in. So I can go on a lot of technology innovations that are coming in, but as I say, people, process, technology. Again, technology, we've been speaking it for many years. It's time we do it now. We have a huge traction. We have a lot of buy-in from the management. We should be doing it. People, the work most difficult, but that's something we'll have to work out. And policy and processes, innovative approach to see how people can, use applications for internal use, process internal for, very seamless manner, rather than being forced to come to office, or, being
Sure,
just
sure.
because you.
Okay. Good. I think good insights from your side, Prasad, on various aspects,
Yeah.
appification and cloud and going mobile seem to be the priorities. Blockchain seem to be the priorities. Sanjeev, I'll come to you now. We've all heard about these challenges, and but one thing is that the latest economic survey indicates 11% growth in GDP this year. So how do and now, the work from home culture is also settling in. So what do you think are the innovations that you see gaining relevance in this new normal to take advantage and actually grow the business?
Yeah, yeah. So in fact, this is nicely elaborated by uh, you know Prasad and then Sandeep. He also mentioned many things. For us, what we have seen, the challenges vary sector to sector. If you see a sector like there is a supply chain centric company, or it is just service company, or it's a product innovation from IT side, the challenges vary. So when we try to integrate, people, process, technology, systems as a top layer of the entire thing, we have seen whether technology is there. I mean, you will find sometimes it is at a very high mature stage in some company. It is an nascent stage in another company. Then if you look at process, what we create within the company to deliver things, either goods or services, there's also we keep on changing, innovating. The way we used to do earlier, now we change it. It's like time variant thing. Now, wherever we go, people think that the top layer, top management layer, they're constant in terms of their thinking and all. But the approach here in this work from home or COVID time, it has taken a topsy-turvy approach, top down. Like the first change has to come the top layer, management layer, what exactly they think, how they drive the whole thing. And then because we have seen whether it is technology, buying, implementation, selection, often it happens, it's there, but it's very difficult to trade off what exactly one has to bring. And there is a time lag. And then by then, you decide it's already something is gone. So whether, whatever we call is engineering issue, technical issue, process issue, it's the people, either the middle level, top level, or junior level people. So if we address that, then I think, things become very, very simple. So if everything is connected to people.
So people is the central point, and
Yes,
any
yes.
innovation that have to happen is around the people working from home. So you have to kind of look at it from top down, like you said.
Top down, because the change has to come from top. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So thanks, Rishi. I'll come to you. Prasad kind of put it very nicely in terms of, some of the things that are required. Now, from a, BPM kind of a sector, what technology innovations can we, see in this sector to kind of thrive in this new economy? I mean, for example, are we looking at, a trend where, we have to rebuild the entire infrastructure for new technologies, like Prasad mentioned blockchain. So similarly, there might be AI or IoT, etc. Or is there a different trend?
So I think one interesting piece, actually around 1.5 years back, we started as a separate BU called digital. And there we build a roadmap that within 1 year, we will do this, 2 years and 3 years. And believe me, because of the pandemic, whatever we had as a 3 years plan, everything got exhausted during the pandemic. Now, that's where we say that most of the technologies, like whether we talk about voice bot, chatbot, NLP, NLG, RPA, data science and analytics, almost all the areas we have worked. And what we are looking as a glide path, like going sequential, we started jumping during the COVID time. So that's where, and now we are into the stage I'm sure all of us as a part of leaders, we have that now the planning stage if we follow the Indian financial year. So if you see that most of the things are not going just as a additional technologies, it's what innovations we are expecting, what business solutions leveraging multiple technology levers. So that's where, like, whether we are talking about cloud, application side, RPA, or data science and analytics, what how we can integrate all these together to give as a robust business solution. And that's where, whether it's customers or internal stakeholders, how we can create a wow moment. And that's where the entire focus is coming. And that's where we are moving on.
Thanks. I think several, I noticed several words pop up there, automation and cloud and blockchain. So Prashant, I think, there's a need for an intelligent IT infrastructure to kind of cater to these new demands. So tell us some of the innovations that are happening there, which can actually be very beneficial for the ITES sector.
Yeah, I'll tell you those. So today, as we spoke, that a lot of employees from their organization are working from home, and for those kinds of use cases, generally a lot of clients are implementing VDI kind of deployments today. Okay, to access their application by sitting at home through the minimal bandwidth. Okay, so today, if we talk about data center footprints and data center equipments, today we are talking about hyperconverged infrastructure. So even today's VMs or IT admins can manage their entire IT infrastructure by sitting at home. And for example, they are having also remote offices at multiple locations across the country. So it is not necessary to go there and manage their infrastructure physically by going over there. They can straight away manage all the infrastructure across the country by sitting at one location, either home or any location where through which they want to monitor those equipment centrally. So those kinds of manageability, or what I can say, flexibility wise. So today we are talking about latest technology trends like desegregated hyperconverged infrastructure with HP. So I will explain in my presentation what are those technique,
Sure.
what does it exactly mean when it comes to DHCI. So,
Sure.
but as in a nutshell, we are talking about hybrid cloud of strategy today. So no, in moving future, a lot of clients are actually going to decide on a hybrid cloud kind of environment rather than just putting their workloads on premise.
Okay. So yeah, so we'd like to know about this, distributed the new form of HCI. I think it's called HCI2, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll look forward to hearing from you on that in your presentation. Last question to Sandeep. What changes would you really suggest to the IT infrastructure for this IT community to kind of leverage some of this growth opportunity and some of the challenges and that have been discussed so far?
Yeah, so basically in this pandemic, everyone was working through remote. Everyone is basically working from home. So in this situation, I would suggest the IT admin who basically working from remote side. So the customer should try to remove the complexity from their IT environment. They should go for the simplicity in IT infrastructure. We know that every solution doesn't fit into one solution. So HP has multiple solution offerings, like it is HCI, whether it's a rack server, whether it's a traditional architecture. Uh, if the customer is facing any challenges, so we can leverage the HP resources, expertise, and the technology what they are having. We can do assessment. We can analyze the challenges in their setup, what they are facing, and definitely we can develop a really a good plan, a good strategy to address those issues. I believe that the solution what HP is carrying. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we'll probably hear more about that during your session later on. So thanks everyone. With that, we end the panel. There are some questions that have come in the meantime. Maybe I can quickly take them, one or two of them now, and then later rest of them we can do after that. Yeah. So should I just ask that question? So One question is that present most of the companies are facing financial constraints resulting in stressed budgets. How can they adopt new technologies? I think that is one, classic with budget cuts and all happening. How do you really look at adopting new technologies? Anybody wants to take that up?
Yeah. So, see again, can I?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, Sheshadri, the reason for the companies facing the financial constraints, yes, because of various COVID-related, scenarios that have come up for payments and inability to deliver. But you know what? This particular point of time has also been a way where a lot of companies took very quick calls, including ours, where we knew this scenario was going to be long term, and we quickly, in the month of March and April itself, gave up all our rental offices. Due to which we were able to save on a substantial amount of rent that we were paying for the year. So yes, there have been issues, but there are some steps that you can take, and this is nothing to do with technology, right? On the technology front, yes, again, there are various steps that you can take, because you know just the fact that you now have the ability, and I'm giving a complete different thought process here. If we had a project to deliver earlier, what we used to do is we used to look at people being recruited and put on the project within the confines of our office. And I used to take them on payroll primarily because I used to think that they would work together as a team and gel. The scenarios change where now I can look at actually resources on a complete, OPEX kind of a contractual model, because now I know I have actually the entire rest of the team is working in that manner. My technology platform, furthermore, is allowing secure access to be given to these resources who are going to work for me on those specific projects. So if you deploy technology which will enable these kind of workplace scenarios, you will substantially add benefit to the organization in the various aspects that would cut down cost and admin on the resourcing and various aspects. So just a different thought I wanted to share to you on this.
Thanks. There are several other questions that have come, but let's kind of first go through the presentations, and then maybe we can do the Q&A. I'll request Sandeep to kind of take up his presentation, and then we will come to Prashant and do his session. So Sandeep, can we please take it over to you?
Yeah, definitely. Hello, good afternoon all. So I represent pre-sales in service technology. I take care server storage solutioning. I will just give you the brief of what SAVEX is. Okay. So this company is established in 1986. This is promoted by Mr. Anil Chagasia. So today we are the largest ICT distributor in India, and this is largest privately held distributor. Our financial revenue for financial year 1920 was 15,000 plus CR, a net worth of over 1,000 plus CR for financial year 1920. We have 39 sales offices and 41 stock locations across the country. Okay, and professionally, we have a qualified core team with more than 20 years of association with SAVEX technologies. So this is basically, I would like to convey, give our presence across the country. So SAVEX perspective, we are having 1,200 plus employees. We have 39 branches and 41 locations. We are catering 700 plus cities. And partner-based perspective, we are working with more than 7,000 partners across the country for HPE partnership perspective or other vendor assignments what we have. Okay, so we are catering with more than 7,000 partners in today. So geographically perspective, we have divided into the basically 10 zones. Okay, So West 1, West 2, West 3 for the West zone, North 1, North 2, North 3 for the North zone, then South 1, South 2 for the South zone, and East 1, East 2 for the East zone. Okay, so we have approx 12 branch offices in West, 11 in North. South we have 11 offices, and in East we have 5 branch offices over there. So this is the basically vision what we are carrying, that is to be regarded as the leading technology and service distributors will be in India. Our mission is to give the value addition and provides the best experience to our partners as well as to our vendors. The partners, we are serving the pre-sale services, sales services, training. So our mission is to give the value add to them. Our values: we are a very ethical and respected company. Our each and every employee takes the ownership. So we are always fulfill that initiatives what we taken. Accessibility perspective, we are accessible to everyone. Our bottom to top approach, they are also the accessible. So we are the people centric company. So business strengths perspective, the relation we are carrying with the HP, that is more than 12 years of partnerships we are having with the HP as a vendor. Last 3 consecutive years, we are on a number 1 position for HP. We are largest distributor for stock and sell. We do the stocking of servers, storages. So that's why it will be available within a day to our end customers. Okay. So that's stock and sell for our all regions. More than 40% we are having the market share for the HPE business perspective. As you are aware that HPE is basically the partner centric. They do more than 85% to 90% business through partners. So in that segment, we have more than 40% market share. We have strong sales and pre-sales team to provide the HP solution. So we have pre-sales in each zone, each region. We have the pre-sales for networking. We have the pre-sales for servers and storage who are highly certified in their respective domains. Sales perspective as well, they are more qualified with the HP product lines, solution offerings. We have invested POC appliances as well. So basically, where the customer is looking out for the POC for hyperconverged infrastructure, whether it is a virtualization, storage perspective, then management perspective. So we have invested heavily on HCI, storage, networking equipments, where you can contact us and we can provide the equipments for the demo perspective. Apart from that, we have a crowd sourcing as well team. So basically, they works on a project basis. So they are well qualified on a open source technology and large projects. So that's it from my end. Actually, I have given the overview about the SAVEX, what we are and where we are. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot, Sandeep, for that overview. I think while Sandeep is just trying to join, I think there's some issue he was facing. I guess technology glitches can happen. So I will just go ahead and continue with the question Q&A. There's a question from Manish Parekh. It says, considering the change from the pre-COVID to now, how do we now look at business continuity, high availability, and disaster recovery as an overall view? So would anybody like to take that question? Prasad, Rishi, Sanjeev, anybody?
So, we actually kind of, the pandemic forced us to go hands-on on business continuity planning and disaster recovery, more so business continuity planning, because if you really see what we IT guys did, and we were really proud about it. We used to say, हम लोग ने DR test किया है, and it always used to be admin drill. Yes, we did once a year actually the drill with, but it was just a test. This was the time when the entire BCP of people working not from office got tested, and there were lots of learnings and serious learnings, which I think are going to be long lasting. So, Manish, your point is really important. The question is really good because all of us, not just few people who used to think that it doesn't matter to me if I don't work out of, the BCP is not that critical. I think the perceptions to BCP and DR have definitely changed in this COVID and post-COVID scenario. It will continue to be one of the critical aspects that every business will think now.
Thanks. Thanks, Prasad. I think Prashant is back. So Prashant, I'll request you to take up your session now. Prashant, you're there? Hello, Prashant.
He's just connecting, I think.
Yeah. It says connecting audio. It says, seems he's not able to. Prashant, have you connected? So let me take up one more question while he tries to connect. I think he has connected. Prashant, can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
because of some power outage, I was unable to.
Yeah. So I'll hand it over to you now to share your presentation, please.
Yeah. Someone can share my presentation because I'm on another laptop, so that's the reason.
Yeah, I think.
Ritika
or Prerna, either of you, do you have his presentation?
Shall I share, Sandeep here?
Yeah, please do that. Thanks, Sandeep.
I hope it is visible.
Yeah, it is visible. Thanks.
It's
Sandeep.
visible.
Just go to slide number 1. That's it.
Yep. Sorry.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Prashant Deshmukh this side. I manage a storage portfolio from HPE for the West region. So now I'm just going to take you through the how our technology is is evolving continuously and adopting the latest change which are there in the IT industry today. Can I move to the next slide, please? Yeah. So today, if you see in our lot of our data centers, the infrastructure is like a traditional 3-tier architecture which we use, and for that we usually manage each and every equipment or component to different management console. And because our infrastructure is consists of multiple OEMs, because of that reason, the infrastructure becomes a complex task for IT admin to manage. Okay, and there is a they're constantly dealing with the complexity of the infrastructure that slow down the time to market, and continuously they're fighting fires that ties up their time and supporting new application demands with more cost pressures. Okay, so against that we have offerings. Can I move to the next slide? Yeah. So in 2010, we were talking about converged kind of architecture where we used to combine servers along with the network tier along with the traditional dual controller storage array. But in that architecture also, in converged architecture also, we used to manage each and every component separately. So servers we were managing to different console, network tier we were managing to different console, and storage we were managing to different console. So still the challenge were there. So we were managing. So because of that, the complexity were there, and the converged architecture is used to consume a lot of your rack footprints, and because of that, power consumption was on a higher side. So after that, we have started talking about hyperconverged infrastructure solution. Now we all know that in hyperconverged infrastructure solution, there is no need to have a traditional dual controller storage array. By using hyperconverged software, we have combined storage tier in the server layer itself. So that's the reason we don't require separate dual controller traditional storage array. And with the Hyperconverter kind of platform, now we are able to manage your server tier along with virtualization, along with network and storage through a single pane of glass. Okay, so in case of HP's Hyperconverter offering, so we have SimpliVity from our side, and SimpliVity we can able to manage through VMware vCenter console. So that's the reason we are saying that it is very simple to manage your entire HCI infrastructure, and it is a VM centric manageability. So for example, today your organizations are using 2 or 3 SimpliVity nodes at your HO location, and you have multiple location across the country, and you have only one node at each location. So your remote locations are not having any IT staff or IT admins over there to manage your infrastructure. That's there. HP SimpliVity will help you. So all other location across the country where you have deployed HP SimpliVity, all other location you can manage through your single pane of glass that goes from a single location itself. Okay. Can we move to the next slide? Yeah. So today we are talking about hyperconverged infrastructure only, but some of the workloads of yours needs the flexibility in terms of scaling the compute as well as storage independently. So for those kinds of workloads, HCI kind of architecture will help you. How it is going to help you? In HCI, we always talk about the scale out architecture. So when we compare it to earlier old traditional three-tier architecture, beyond the certain limitations of your dual controller, we could not able to scale in terms of capacity and delivering the number of IOs. But here with HCI or else with DHCI, what we are saying over here is the moment you increase your workloads, whether they are demanding capacity more or they are demanding compute more or they are demanding compute and capacity together. So you have to just add one more node in the cluster, and you can simply scale out your infrastructure. So there is no limitations in terms of your scaling your infrastructure. Okay. So that's how the flexible hyperconverged infrastructure architecture is from HP side. And we have 2 offerings into that. One is SimpliVity and other is we call it as a nimble storage DHCI. So what are the difference between these 2 architectures? How these 2 architectures are helping to build hybrid cloud kind of strategy to our customers? I will explain you that also. Yeah, can we move on to the next slide? Yeah. So now these are the 3 types. Today clients are actually a lot of customers like you are discussing and talking with us. So edge to core and core to cloud. So edge, I will explain you first what is the meaning of edge. So with our HCI offering from HP side, we can offer 2 SimpliVity nodes. Our HCI starts with minimum 2 SimpliVity nodes at a single location. And as I told you in earlier slides, you're having n number of locations across the country, but you don't have IT admins to manage your infrastructure over there. So how you're going to manage those kinds of location by sitting at your head office or sitting at your home. So there, our SimpliVity platform will help you, because our HCI platforms we can able to manage through single console, which is nothing but VMware vCenter. With SimpliVity, we use VMware as a virtualization platform. And if you're having n number of locations across the country, you can manage all other locations by sitting at home or sitting at your head office. So that's how edge kind of deployments will help you. But related to this edge, if you talk about other HCI OEMs, you have to procure three nodes at each location, and then you can build your HCI platform. But it is not the same way with SimpliVity. We can just have single node of SimpliVity HCI appliance at your remote location, and we can simply manage all other location by sitting at your home premises or HO kind of thing. So when I talk about core, business critical apps, mixed workloads, unpredictable growth. So here when it comes to, I was talking about nimble storage DHCI. So DHCI is nothing but desegregated hyperconverged infrastructure. So whatever limitations were there in hyperconverged infrastructure, we are trying to fulfill those with DHCI kind of new offerings, which are nothing but HCI only. So it is a HCI-like experience, but you have flexibility to add compute and storage independently. Means today, some of the workloads demands capacity more, or some of the workloads demands compute more. But when it comes to HCI, we are talking about SimpliVity or nearest competition like theirs or Cisco or Nutanix of the world. If you want to add compute or storage, you have to add entire node along with CPU, along with storage together as a 4th node or 5th node in your HCI cluster. But when it comes to DHCI, if your application workloads are demanding only compute, we can add only compute. If your application workloads are demanding only capacity, we can add only capacity. So those kinds of flexibilities are there with Nimble Storage DHCI kind of platform, which comes under core kind of what I can say pillar. And the third pillar, which I'm talking about, cloud. So common data services, seamless mobility, and maximize flexibility. So we have discussed about SimpliVity, which is our HCI offering. We have discussed I've already given an overview about DHCI, what it does and how it is flexible as compared to HCI. Now both these technologies I combine together as an on-premise. Plus, if I offer you some what I can say, some of the workloads, if your on-premises equipments are running out of compute capacity or storage capacity, if I move those workloads to private cloud or public cloud vendors like Amazon or AWS, then after that you are going to get a 99.999% kind of data availability for your application workload. So in nutshell, we can able to integrate with SimpliVity as well as our DHCI offering to your AWS or Azure kind of cloud vendors, and we can even able to take a backup on cloud. Okay, so in case your primary data center is not available to you which is on premise, you can directly access it from public cloud vendors like Amazon or Azure. So that's how we are giving a flexibility to our customers today. Yeah, so this is one experience, every workload edge to cloud. So these are the 3 tiers. Global intelligence is nothing but our what I can say artificial intelligence which we load on SimpliVity or HCI or DHCI kind of platform. So what does it mean? Global intelligence, our offering is InfoSight. So a lot of from you all use what I can say participants knows what is the InfoSight is. So earlier it was available only with Nimble Storage, but today we have integrated InfoSight, which is artificial intelligence engine loaded on HCI and DHCI platform, which does the proactive monitoring of your entire cluster when it comes to HCI or DHCI with respect to physical hardware, virtualization platform, networking, storage. It always does the proactive monitoring for that. In case any issue occurs with respect to your HCI or DHCI environment, it resolves that issue automatically, because few years ago, if similar kind of problem was occurred at some of our other customer premises, that time what was the solution we applied for their issue? Similar solution we are going to apply today on your issue by using InfoSight artificial AI engine. Unified management experience. Just below that, it is nothing but your what I can say. If you want to manage your server, storage, virtualization through a single pane of glass, there we can help you with VMware vCenter console. Optimized for edge via HPE SimpliVity that we already discussed. In case you're having multiple offices or locations across the country, we could able to manage all other locations by sitting at your head office or sitting at your home. Optimized for Pro via Nimble Storage DHCI. If you want to scale your capacity in terms of compute and storage separately, we are having Nimble Storage DHCI kind of offering and cloud connected. So we have HP Cloud Volumes. So through DHCI or through SimpliVity, we can able to integrate with HP Cloud Volumes, and we can able to migrate data from on-premise to on-cloud. Okay. So key outcomes delivered with our offerings today is we can offer 99.999% data availability with Nimble Storage DHCI kind of offering. And we can even commit latency of less than 1 millisecond or latency in terms of sub-milliseconds we can able to achieve. And both these HCI offerings from HP with respect to HCI SimpliVity and Nimble Storage DHCI, we have something called as variable block length inline deduplication compression, because of which we can able to actually achieve a large amount of data efficiency when it comes to all flash storage or hybrid storage. And because of that, we can able to spend our 90% of more time for other innovations which are there in front of us today. Yeah. So how SimpliVity is going to help with respect to reducing the overall data center cost. So as I told you, SimpliVity can start with minimum 2 nodes, and it can scale up to 64 nodes in a single cluster. And with SimpliVity, a lot of clients are getting advantage of built-in data protection, which no one else in the industry is having. SimplyVT offers built-in data protection. We can even protect all the virtualized environment against ransomware attack on the same cluster if the client is using SimplyVT backup functionality. Automated tuning without knobs or trade-offs. This is with respect to InfoSight. So today we have integrated InfoSight to our HPE SimplyVT platform. Means what? InfoSight can able to actually, InfoSight is proactively monitoring entire HPE SimplyVT cluster when it comes to hardware, VM-wise. What I can say, if you want to upgrade your firmware or if you want to upgrade your SimplyVT software, so one-click upgrades are also available through InfoSight. And if in case for the audit compliance purpose, if someone is looking for the reporting like what are the top 3 virtual machines based on IOPS consumption, what are the top 3 virtual machines based on memory consumption, what are the top 3 virtual machines based on IOPS consumption. So those kinds of reportings are available today with HPE SimplyVT and InfoSight as a combination. Okay, one big point with respect to data protection I would like to highlight over here is SimplyVT can able to protect all the VMs or VM workloads against ransomware attack if client is using SimplyVT's native backup capability. Okay, yeah, next slide. Yeah, so today if you talk about other HCI OEMs, as I mentioned earlier, so to maintain a high availability, you have to start with minimum 3 nodes. But with SimplyVT, we have an advantage to start with minimum 2 nodes to achieve a high availability kind of scenario. And because we are starting with 2 nodes, naturally we are going to consume less data center footprints, and because of that, your power consumption will go on a lower side with HPE SimplyVT. With other HCI OEMs, there is no built-in data protection available today. They have to rely on third-party backup applications like Veeam, Commvault, and to dump their backup data, they may still need Dell EMC Data Domain or Veritas Net Backup kind of appliance. And in case they want to restore a VM of 1 TB of capacity by using third-party backup applications, they will at least take 5 to 6 hours to restore that 1 terabyte of virtual machine. Results, your larger RTOs. Okay. When it comes to SimplyVT, we can able to commit to all our customers, and some of yours are already aware that in SimplyVT we can able to commit a 1 terabyte VM restoration time in less than 60 seconds. So that is something we can give in writing when it comes to RTO commitments from HP side for our HC offerings. So we can able to restore 1 terabyte of VM in less than 60 seconds. Okay. Manual tuning. So unlike like I said, we have integration with InfoSight today, which is artificial intelligence loaded on our SimplyVT and Nimble DHCS storage platform. So those kinds of what I can say proactive monitoring or AI-based utilities are not there with our competition. If they want to propose it, you have to buy additional licenses with them. So that is the not case with HP SimplyVT. Those licenses are come from the day one without paying any additional cost. Yeah. So as we have already spoken about this, so with respect to Nimble Storage DHCI, we can able to scale compute and storage independently to optimize the efficiency, fast, lower latency performance, and 99.999% data availability. So when we compare DHCI versus HCI, and for example, when to choose which solution, if your question is like this. So if your application workloads are demanding sub-millisecond kind of latencies, okay, then it is better to go ahead with DHCI kind of offerings than rather than going to HCI. Because with HCI, we have certain overheads assigned for our SimplyVT software or any HCI software. There are certain overheads with respect to CPU and memory, and with respect to doing deduplication compression also. There are overheads to be there on CPU, but in case of Nimble Storage DHCI, because Nimble Storage is capable of doing inline variable block length deduplication compression, on a server side, you're not going to consume CPU or memory overheads. So there you're going to save on performance, and you can able to get a better performance when it comes to latency and number of IOPS delivered to your application workloads. And with Nimble DHCI also, servers along with network tier, along with storage tier, you're going to manage through VMware vCenter console only. The way we were managing SimplyVT through VMware vCenter console, similar way we can able to manage our Nimble DHCI storage offering. So it is actually giving you what I can say manageability like HCI, but you can able to scale your infrastructure independently when it comes to compute scaling or capacity scaling. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah. So this is what I've already discussed. So with HCI, in case you want to scale your infrastructure, I was talking about Simplicity or what I can say Nutanix or Dell VxRail kind of offering. If you want to scale your infrastructure, you have to add nodes along with CPU, along with memory, along with storage together. But when it comes to DHCI kind of offering, you can scale the way you want. If you want to add if you want to add just a compute, you can add compute. If you want to add the storage, you can add the storage, and you can scale up and scale out your infrastructure together. Because of that, the CPU and memory which we used to take with HCI kind of environment together, and we were not using that. So wastage of resources would not be there with DHCI kind of offering. So that is how the DHCI is providing some advantage over HCI today. Yeah, next please. Yeah. At the last, this will be my last slide. I'd like to just mention over here. With HPE cloud volumes, as we have already discussed, that some of the clients and customers have already started evaluating hybrid cloud kind of strategies today. So in case if DC goes down or DC on-premises DC is not available, they have to access their workloads from the cloud itself, like Amazon or Azure kind of public cloud vendors. So today with HCI and DHCI kind of offerings, we have integration with Azure and Amazon kind of public cloud vendors, through which we can replicate or migrate data from on-prem to on cloud. So in case the primary DC on-premises DC is not available, you can able to access your data on application workloads from cloud directly. So that's how we call it as a 99.999% availability for your data. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, next, this we already discussed. Next, please. Yeah, so all these two offerings which we have discussed, Simplicity and DHCI, so those are available under GreenLake kind of offerings. Means what? It is a pay as you grow model. Means what? So today, if your memory usage is of 1.5 TB, and we will charge you for though we are sizing Simplicity for 2 TB, or we are sizing DHCI platform for 2 TB of memory, but we'll size only on your usage part. Means out of those 2 TB, you are only consuming 1.4 TB of memory. So we are going to charge on that particular what I can say memory only. So we are not going to charge you for entire capex thing. It is OpEx paid offerings from our side. Whatever you use, we'll only charge you for that. So those kinds of offerings are there with us under GreenLake, and we can position these two our HCI offerings when it comes to our HP portfolio. Yeah, this is what we have already discussed. I think we should go on the next slide. Yeah, so these are certain use cases or case studies which we have highlighted over here. So this customer was actually evaluating for VDI kind of deployments, and they were having a lot of remote offices across globe. So for them, we have actually implemented Simplicity for their VDI offerings, and for remote offices, we have just kept single or 2 node kind of deployments for Simplicity, and at the primary location, they are having 16 to 17 node of Simplicity cluster is in place. Yeah, next please. Yeah, here we have proposed Nimble Storage DHCI for their video offerings. The requirement was a little bit on a higher side when it comes to capacity. So we thought to propose Nimble Storage DHCI, and they were expecting latencies less than 1 millisecond. So and they were expecting, actually, since the data size was on a higher side. So with Nimble DHCI kind of offering, since we are offering variable block length deduplication compression, so they were actually demanding for 250 terabytes of your storage. On Nimble Storage DHCI, we were able to manage it just to 120 terabytes. So that's how they have got the data efficiency with Nimble Storage DHCI. And today they are running DHCI happily along with InfoSight. So this is what about about our recent growth map. So we have clocked 53.5% year-on-year growth when it comes to HCI as a what I can say hyperconverged OEM platform. Category disruption we have now actually included in DHCI category under Gartner, and Gartner has actually acknowledged that. And in the December month, we have actually got what I can say Peer Insights Product of the Year award from CRN for Simplicity. So these are the few achievements from our side to our what I can say HCI offerings. So these are some 3 achievements which we have got recently. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Can you please shut down the?
Thanks a lot, Prashant. I think there's been, people have been posting some questions during this time. So I'll just ask one question, and in the interest of time, I'll just restrict it to one question. For the other questions, what we can do is that, we can take them and answer them individually and send them to the people who asked them. So the question is around, currently organizations are working on reduced staff and work from home environment. But in the near future, when situation changes, are solution providers providing such solutions to scale up or down at any time? So any of you can take up that question.
Can you please repeat that question again? Sorry.
Yeah, so basically organizations are right now working on reduced staff, and work from home environments. But as situation changes, will solution providers have solutions? Are they providing solutions to scale up or down anytime, their solutions?
Yeah. So that's the reason actually I said this kind of flexibility, if they are looking for, it is better to choose hybrid kind of strategy rather than just choosing on-premises kind of deployments. Right. Because it can scale up and scale down when it comes to processing power or when it comes to storage, and public cloud or private cloud vendors can actually do the billing on that part. The moment whatever resources you have used, they will charge as per that according to that only.
Okay, Rishi, do you want to add something about scaling up or scaling down of the resources to keep track of that? The Q&A, if you can just open that, you'll see the question. You want to add something to that?
Yeah, actually, even in our scenario, we call it as a post COVID. I will put the new term or that the new way of working coming up as a gig economy, where we are talking about the resources who are available as per requirement. Like somebody can work for 4 hours based on their convenience, and those type of the availability of the employees giving us that in terms of like scale up, scale down type of the comfort. Same way on the other side, on the technology front, what we talk about on the cloud, when we are going, we know that based on our requirement, we can have infrastructure scale up and scale down, and based on the requirement, and we keep on moving on this. So we are now no more restricted with that like fixed infrastructure or keep on going up or down, but as per what we call it on demand, we can keep on going and having the infrastructure available to us. So it's a infrastructure people both. We can have on demand sort of a model for all of us.
Right. So thanks a lot, Rishi. I think with that, we come to the end of today's session. We are running a little behind schedule, but I think we have still made good of the time. Thanks a lot, Rishi. Thanks, Sandeep and Prashant, for being here, for participating in the panel, sharing your views and all that. And thanks to all the attendees for sparing your valuable time, asking those questions. For those that we could not answer, we will individually get back to you with the answers to your questions. Thanks a lot for that. When you move out, please, and you click the leave button, you'll probably get a give feedback button just below it. Just click that and share the feedback. If you don't get it still when you click leave, feedback form will pop up. Just do fill that up and send it to us. It will really help us understand how you found the webinar. Thanks, and everyone have a great evening, and hope to see you again soon. Let's hope this pandemic gets over and life comes back to normal. Thank you so much. You've all been wonderful. Bye-bye.